रिपोर्ट तरी वेबसाईटला
सागर म्हणून बोला.
मामा
ते खाली
इथं ऍडमिट करायला कोणाला तरी ऍडमिट करायचं
हां
ते नाही दिसत मी इकडनं नाही दिसत सरांचं मुलं अनम्यूट करा
हां सर स्वतः
आणि
त्यांना
व्हिडिओ
सांगायला
पण
पाहिजे.
स्टार्ट
नाही आता सर तिथूनच अनम्यूट करू शकता. सरांना कॉल करू का?
असं फॉर्म करायचं इट डझंट लुक नाईस हां
हां ओके थँक्यू मॅम.
तू डायरेक्ट कसं करू शकतेस
मॅम मी तू उठून कसं त्यांना बोल सांगायला
नाही
जाणार?
हिला सांग ना त्यांना सांग ना मला तू कशाला हे करायला लागलीस?
सॉरी मॅम.
नाही मग हे बरोबर नाही ना प्रोटोकॉल आहे हा. You should not take granted.
हां मॅम नाही मी स्क्रीन चालू नाही करा म्हटलं. वाईट जशी काल होती ना तशीच ठेवा. हां बरोबर. हां
मामा केबिन मध्ये मामा सरांचं ऑडिओ आणि व्हिडिओ ऑन करायला सांगा सरांना.
हां 1-2 मिनिटात स्टार्ट करतो म्हणून सांगा. त्यांचा ऑडिओ बंद केलेला कारण तिथलं बोलणं ऐकू जात होतं सगळ्यांना.
ऑडिओ आणि व्हिडिओ स्टार्ट करा.
तुम्ही जाणार का बरोबर?
तुम्हाला झेरॉक्स काढून देऊ ना?
तू पकड तू सुरू करा
करू मॅम?
हा कर
येस
असं
सरांचं ऑन होऊ दे मग करूया.
जरा बोलायला सुरुवात करा.
एकच मिनिट.
तू इथून ऑन करू शकतेस का?
नाही करू शकत. ट्राय केलं पण होत नाही. सरांचं केलं तर नाही अजून.
अनम्यूट कर. बघून येतेस काय सलमा सांगून येतेस काय मी तोपर्यंत इथे
नाही ते नाही. हां ते म्हटलं तिथं मेसेज येतो बघा यू कांट अनम्यूट.
लॅपटॉप वरती करता येते मोबाईलवरती.
सर मोबाईलवरती
हां सुरू
झालं.
झालं.
नाही नाही आवाज मी हां झाला. इट्स ओके. अ व्हेरी गुड मॉर्निंग. येस सर. सर एम आय ऑडिबल टू ऑल?
मॅडम आवाज येतोय?
येस सर व्हेरी वेल.
Hello.
माझं म्यूट अनम्यूट करा. मी करते मग. येस सर यू आर
Hello.
व्हेरी मच ऑडिबल. येस सर आवाज व्यवस्थित ऐकू येतोय.
ओके.
Yes. A very good morning to all of you. On the behalf of Sri Swami Vivekananda Shikshan Sanstha's Vivekananda College, Kolhapur, Autonomous, I am Ms. Supriya Patil, Faculty of English Department. Welcome you all for this second day of national level guest lectures entitled Career Opportunities for English Graduates. Expressing our gratitude towards Sri Swami Vivekananda Shikshan Sanstha's Chairman, Honorable Principal Abhay Kumar Salunkhe Sir, and Secretary, Honorable Principal Shubhangitai Gaude Madam, for their constant encouragement and support. I welcome all the dignitaries who have joined us live on Google Meet platform. First of all, I welcome our Principal, Dr. R.R. Kumbhar Sir, and then I welcome Dr. Shruti Joshi, Coordinator, NAC and IQSC. I welcome Dr. Kavita Teude, Head of the Department, English Department. I also welcome Dr. R.Y. Patil Madam, Dean, Professional Courses. I welcome Dr. Wagmare Sir, Head, Computer Science Department. I also welcome other faculty members of our English department joining us from their respective cabins and staff rooms. Last but not the least, I welcome all the participants who have joined us from different parts of Maharashtra and states of India. On the second day, our topic is how to crack SET NET JRF examinations smartly. With us today, we have our resource person, Mr. Nitish Shinde, joining us from Shivaji University. I welcome you, sir, for this session. I request our principal, sir, Dr. R. Kumbhar, to say a few words to us and guide us.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Very good morning to all of you. The head of the department and all faculty members and today's resource person. I welcome you all for this second day of the seminar. As the principal of Vivekananda College, Kolhapur, I am delighted to welcome all delegates from different states of India who have participated in this national level lecture series organized by the Department of English and IQAC of my college. I am happy to know that Vivekananda College has provided a platform to know that my college, that students all over India will be benefited from. On one hand, the policymakers at the national and international level are emphasizing the need to work in humanities, but on the other hand, students are becoming dispassionate towards it. They are not sure that education in humanities will provide them some career, practical, and smart career options. The concrete options are not before them. Considering this point, I think our faculty members have invited guests to discuss varied opportunities available to English graduates, different exams to grab these opportunities, etc. for this national level lecture series. It will provide you with multiple career options available to English graduates and ways to lead them successfully. In today's lecture, I think some smart and time-saving knack that will help you to crack SET, NET and JRF exams in least time. Once again, I welcome you all and give my best wishes to team for the further success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your guidelines that you have given us. And now I'm to introduce our resource person, Mr. Nitish Shinde, joining us from the Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Nitish Panduranga Shinde is originally from Sangli, a district in Maharashtra. He has been a versatile and talented student since his childhood days, winning many scholarships and talent hunt competitions. He has won many prizes in various competitions like literary quizzes, elocution competition, poetry recitation, and research competition. Immediately after his post-graduation in 2017, he qualified SET of Maharashtra State, SET of Karnataka State, and NET along with JRF in 2018 only. At present, he is doing PhD at the Department of English, Shivaji University, under the guidance of Dr. Prabhanjan Mane, and his PhD topic is Subversion of Feminine Identity in Select Plays of Suzanne Laurie Parks and Polly Sen Gupta. So who else can be a proper person than Mr. Nitish Shinde to guide us on the topic of today's lecture, that is how to crack SET-NET and JRF examination smartly. So without wasting much time, I request Mr. Nitish Shinde sir to start with his session. There are few suggestions from his side that if you have any doubt, you can put your doubt, you can put your question or query into the chat box, and he will divide his session into two parts. In first part, he will talk about first paper, and after that, he will handle the questions related to that paper. After that session, he will start his second part, in which he will deal with the second paper, which is of English. And after that paper, he will handle the queries related to second paper. So I hope you all have got this. If you have any question, you can put your question into the chat box. I once again thank our principal sir who is joining us today live, and I request Mr. Nitish Shinde to start with his session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction, ma'am. And thank you very much, Kumbhasa, for giving me an opportunity to make a presentation and provide my knowledge regarding the SET-NET exam to the all students of all over India. Thank you very much, sir. Now, I'm going to share my slide. So please let me know, is it visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Very much visible, clearly.
Okay. Now, the first thing, as I'm introduced, I'm not able to understand. Am I able to tell you the ways to clear the exam smartly or not? But definitely, I will try to elaborate you some things. What I did, my experiences in the last 2 3 years, I'm helping the students to clear the NET and SET exam, and what I did with them, and what I actually did while I was preparing for the exam. Because in 2017, April May, I qualified MA, and in 2nd January 2018, I qualified NET with the JRF. So I decided this very much early, that I want to do the NET and SET exam, and I want to be the professor, because this is one of the professions that no one get any kind of the opportunity to this kind of the opportunity to express yourselves in the young generation. So there are the views about life, there are the views about the society, there are the views, either they are the political or the social. I want to express it for the young generation. So I know that there will not be the 100% change, but there will be the beginning of the change. That's why I'm in this particular profession. So it's my suggestion to all: if you're passionate about your teaching, and if you're passionate about what you're doing and what you're contributing to the teaching field, what you're contributing to the society, and teaching field is for you. So now, next, first thing, I want to start with the common myths and misguidance about the SET and NET exams. The first myth is how to read and remember everything under the category of the literature. No way, yaar. Who have the time? There are lots of things. There are more than 10,000, 1 lakh books are there, 1,000 critical analysis are there about every writer, about latest writer, about previous writers from the history, writers from the Victorian age, Jacobean age, Romanticism, America. There are lots of writers from the Depression era, but there is no need to read everything from the under the category of the literature. No way. There are the selective books. You have to select a particular book and you have to follow that. Okay, first. Second thing, at least you have to study 2 years to clear or crack an exam. No way. I cleared with the 6 months. Hello, is everything? Hello.
Yes, participants are requested to mute themselves. It will disturb the meet. Please mute yourself. And mute your videos too. Yes. Nitish sir, your slides are not visible.
Slides are not visible.
Just 1 minute.
1 second, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, now is it visible?
मॅडम तुम्हाला स्लाइड्स दिसत आहेत त्यांच्या? नो नो सर, नो नॉट येट.
One second.
Yes. Participants, please mute your videos as well as audios, please.
One second, ma'am.
Yes, 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 sir.
Is it?
मॅडम दिसत नाहीत ना स्लाइड्स तुम्हाला पण? नो सर, नो.
Is it visible, ma'am, now?
नो 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 सर.
One second, ma'am. I have
Yes.
to. Okay, now?
No, sir.
Okay, I need to reboot this thing, okay? So I need 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because if I'm not able to present these slides, then it will be the mislead for students.
तू कुठे
I
आहेस?
want to show them something.
नितीशच्या इथं जा, त्याला काहीतरी टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लेम आला. हां. ओके. येस. हो हो. त्याचं कदाचित इंटरनेट कनेक्शन.
Hello.
हॅलो.
Hello.
एक. हॅलो.
Hello. Is it visible, ma'am, now? Hello.
No, no, sir. You can mail me. I can display the slides from here.
Yeah, okay. No problem, ma'am. No problem.
Okay.
That will be the better.
Yes, yes. Sir, I have put my mail ID into the chat box. You can take it from there and mail it to me. Your audio is mute. Please unmute.
Yeah, I sent you the mail. Please check.
Okay. Okay. हो हो. मॅडम पीपीटी आले आता काय करू? हां स्क्रीन शेअर करू ना?
डाउनलोड करून शेअर.
येस येस डाउनलोड केली. डेस्कटॉपला करू?
नुसते रन करते. कारण आपलं
हे ओपन करून
streaming
घेऊन
चालूच आहे ना.
हो हो.
स्क्रीन शेअर
Hmm.
करा. स्क्रीन शेअर. पीपीटी ओपन करा आणि रन.
प्रेझेंट नाव म्हणते.
विंडो शेअर करा की डेस्कटॉप ओपन करून ठेवलेलं खाली.
हो ती दिसेल ना की?
नाही दिसणार.
हां ओके येस.
कशाला दिसणार? मीटमध्ये
येसमध्ये दिसते. मीटमध्येच दिसते. इथे दिसत नाही.
इथे जाऊ.
Audio on करू. Okay, I'm presenting my screen, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now I get
Yes.
it.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, of course. Second slide, please.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I was telling you that at least there was a myth, and all of the people who cleared the NET and SET exam after a lot of struggle, after the study of 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I have friends who are studying for the 6 or 7 years. They are also not clearing the exams. I don't know what happened with them, but I think that they are not studying the proper way. There is a way. There is always way for the study, and there is a common myth that at least you have to study for the 2 years to clear the exam. No, you have to study for the at least 6 months, but you have to put your dedicated 6 months for the particular exam. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do anything uh, anything regarding on the social networking sites. Stay away from the social networking sites and do whatever you are doing. Just stop it and concentrate fully on the net and set exam. And if you are thinking that I want to do net and set, I want to do B.Ed, I want to do MA, I want to do everything, then it's not happening. I'm going to tell you that what you have to do while doing your MA, for if you want to do the NET and SET. But this is not true that you have to study for the 2, 3, 4 years to clear the NET and SET exam. Um, just think that if you invest your 6 years or the 2 years or the 3 years to clear this kind of the exams, that you are not going anywhere in the particular research areas, or in the particular or in research areas, or in the particular your teaching field. So remember that at any cost, put your all efforts and clear your NET and SET exam in the 6 months only. Then third is must read a random but well recognized history books. No way. Follow a only source to read any kind of history. Suppose there is history of American literature, or the history of British literature, or the outline of the British literature. There are lots of writers and lots of critics are write about the history of English literature, history of British literature, and history of all the all the critics are there. Like David Lodge is there, Hudson is there, David Duchess is there. Lots of writers are there, but still I feel that there is only way to clear this kind of exams is must read must read and follow the only one source. What I did in the while I was doing MA, I only read David H. in my whole life to follow the history, to read the history. It's neat. It's true that you have to read it, you have to well aware about the history of the particular literature, but I don't think there is any way to clear this kind of exam. And if you want to clear this exam, you have to read history book, but follow only one source. Don't read don't read David Lodge, don't read Hudson. I suggest you to read a David Digest at least once. And most important thing, make your own note. Until and unless you are not making your own notes, nothing. You are going nowhere. So please prepare your own notes. So what I was doing while I was doing MA, in Shivaji University, there was almost from the BA to MA, there was almost 100 writers are there. I was reading their biography, I was making their list of their work, and I was using the critical sources for their scores. So while doing BA and MA, I covered almost 150 writers. So I don't need that much time, and I saved that much time in that 6 months. In that 6 months, I know there are the 150 writers that I know well about them, and I know their work of art, I know their biography, I know what their contribution to the society. So thing is, just read David Digest or random any sources, but follow only single sources for history of American literature, British literature, or any history of literature. Okay. Now next, before the basics before preparing for the exam. First is exam. Remember that exam is not about what to read. Okay. Remember that exam is not about what to read. It's all about what not to read. Okay. What we exact do, or all what we exact do at the age of 23 while we are qualifying the MA, we want to read everything. We want to follow the everything because we think that I want to get a correct every answer. I want to get every answer correct at any cost. No, there is not this kind of a way. In this way, you are not going to clear the exam. It is exam about what not to read. Please choose your material wisely and please read selectively. Okay, remember. Okay, there are two types of studies. First is you have to know everything from something, and second is you have to know something from everything. Again, you have to know everything from something, and second is you have to know something from everything. Do you know competitive exams, either it's a net and set exam or either it's any competitive exam, it's all about you have to know something from everything. Okay, if you don't know about if you don't know about David Malouf, there is an Australian writer named David Malouf, and if you know about the Peter Carey and other writers, it's okay. You don't know David Malouf, that's fine. That's fine. It's properly fine. You know basics of the Australian literature. You know abolitionist movement. You know there's some their major prices and prices and all. That's fine. Just remember that this is an exam of you have to know something from everything. Second, then next, beginning of the preparation. Okay, now I want to share my experiences. Okay, first thing, must read the syllabus first. Syllabus is the most important thing in the whole this clearing exam process or the cracking this exam process. And if you don't know the syllabus and you are reading randomly and aimlessly, there is nothing. You are going nowhere. Please check the syllabus. First thing. Second thing, previous year question paper. While I was doing MA first year 2015, I downloaded every exam paper from 2011 because from the 2011 exam net and set exams are started, objective exams. So I downloaded every paper, I solved every paper, and I analyzed it. The third point is analysis of the previous year question paper. What is exactly mean by the analysis? You have to categorize the writers. You have to categorize the writers by their periods, by the particular period. Suppose there are the Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, and all. There are the romantic writers. There is Victorian writers. There are the Jacobean writers. There are the 19th century writers. There are the 20th century writers. There is the realism movement. There is the naturalism movement. You have to categorize these writers from your question papers, and you have to analyze that how many questions are asked on the particular period, how many questions are asked on the Shakespeare, how many questions are asked on the Dryden, and how many questions are there repetitive questions. Okay, in my opinion and in my experience, net exam there will be no any repetitive questions, but in the set question in the set exam there are the repetitive questions. From the 2011 there is one question, from the 2011 to 2020 there was one question, it was repeated for the 8 times in a consecutive 9 years. It means almost every year. That is, who coined the term objective correlative? We know that the T.S. Eliot is the person who applied the term objective correlative, but objective correlative is the term coined by Washington Alston. That we don't know. This is the preparation. That is, it comes from the analysis of the previous year question papers. Every time you are putting your answers as a T.S. Eliot, you are going to be the wrong. Every time you have to Google it, you have to Wikipedia, you have to find it on the Wikipedia, you have to share your notes, you have to find it on the e-notes, Spark notes, you have to follow the Britannica. There are lots of sources are there on the internet, but to follow the one sources again. Then the basic reading and the self-analysis. Please solve the previous year question paper on the basis of your reading till a date. If you're doing BA, if you're doing MA, or if you're doing your research, please solve the question paper. It's for the preparation. It's the beginning of the preparation, right? Please read that. Suppose there are the 300 marks question paper. First paper is 100 marks. Second paper is a 200 mark. And if you are getting 120 marks out of 300, 120 marks out of 300, check the merits. Check the merits of the last 10 years. I want to tell you, the highest merit for English is a 68% merit. Okay, 68%. So there is a no chance. Remember that there is a no chance that anybody can read and realize or remember 100% of the syllabus and prepare the 100% of the syllabus. Please keep in mind that you don't have to prepare 100%. You just have to prepare a 75%. But just you have to categorize what to neglect, what chapter, what point you should don't have the time to study. I want to tell you my experiences. We all know Shakespeare, right? We all know Shakespeare. We are dealing with it every day. We are doing it every day. From the even in the 8th standard there was a play prescribed in the prescribed by the Maharashtra board in the 8th standard by the play by the Shakespeare. Now in the BA there was a play by the Shakespeare. In the MA there was a play by the Shakespeare. Everywhere the Shakespeare. But in my analysis from 2011 to 2020, there was a maximum number of the question asked on the Shakespeare, that was number 4. Four questions are asked on the Shakespeare in the single paper, maximum four questions. And on the Victorian period, 5 questions. Jacobean period, 3 and 4 questions. Romanticism period, 3 or 4 questions. 20th century, 7 to 8 questions. 19th century, 7 to 8 questions. Okay, so if you are wasting your time on the less important topic according to the NTA or according to the UGC, then you are going to fail this exam, my buddy. You are not going to pass this exam if you are not analyzed your previous year question papers, and if you are not analyzed these question papers, how much time giving for the particular period, particular writer at the particular period. So the fact is, I never read a Shakespeare along in my whole life till a date, but still I qualified net with the GRF because I had not wasted my time to read the Shakespeare. Shakespeare is too vast. He is a great figure in English literature. You can't read this person in 15 days, 30 days. No, never. You are not able to read the Shakespeare in the 15 days and 30 days. Better way, you should prepare for the Victorian poetry, Victorian prose fiction, and you are going to get the marks of the 7. You are going to get the 7 to 8 questions right. So, but I'm suggesting to not to read the Shakespeare, but I'm also suggesting you please read the contemporaries of the Shakespeare. Okay, so this thing I'm going to repeat this again in the next upcoming slides, but still choosing of the right sources. What is the choosing of the right sources? Choosing of the right sources, it means your understanding, whatever you are understanding is important. If you are not understanding David Digest, don't go for David Digest. It has simple and complex language, but you have to know some basic history of English literature, and then only you have to then only you are able to read a David Digest. So I suggest you start with M.H. Abrams glossary. M.H. Abrams glossary, friends, it's a bible for the set exam. If you mug up and if you know the M.H. Abrams glossary thoroughly, the recent edition thoroughly, then only M.H. Abrams. I bet you, if you know the M.H. Abrams glossary thoroughly, you can clear the set. No need to read any other books for the English literature. No need to read any another book for the English literature. But for the net, you have to read, at least you have to read the one history, one major history by the David Dutcher, David Lodge, David Hudson, or the Hudson. Okay. So next, note making. Please make your own notes in your own language. Yes, there are notes in the market. Yes, there are the lots of books in the market. Yes, there are lots of sources who are providing the notes about the literature and language, but self note making is a, what you make a teacher to be. Okay, so it's the most important thing, a note making in your own language. It doesn't matter, it will not understand to anyone. It should have understand by yourself only. Okay, now remember, whatever you are reading is not useless at all. Okay, now I have to tell one story. While I was in the BA, I read one Marathi book by the Achur Godbole. That book name is Suppose. It was in three parts, one, two, three, and there was the basic biographies of the writer, and the work of arts of the work of arts, the lots of writer from the all over the world, and I just read that and left it as it there. When I was in the BA third year. While I was given in the exam, I was sitting in the exam hall, and there was a question that which among the below has criticized 1858 mutiny. 1858 mutiny. I don't know anything about that question, and I don't know any writer among the below that criticized 1857 mutiny. But still, there is one chance that Thomas Hardy, who criticized particular 1857 chances, because I was reading, I just have the inner voice, and I just am conscious that I read it somewhere, I don't know anywhere, but I read it, and Thomas Hardy is the answer for that. That's all. And I click it there because there was no negative marking in the net and set exam. It's beneficial for me, and that question was just a random guess, and it was right. If you are reading at a BA level, whatever you are reading at the BA level, whatever you are reading at EMA level, it's not useless at all according to the exam. Okay, now we move to the paper first. Okay, it's a general paper on the teaching and research aptitude. This is a syllabus which is given on the website, which is given on the NTA UGC net user. There are the 10 topics, and each topic there will be the 5 questions on in exam. Okay, teaching aptitude, research aptitude, comprehension, communication, mathematical reasoning and aptitude, logical reasoning, data interpretation, information and communication technology, people development and environment, higher education system. Okay, there are 10 topics. On every topic there will be the 5 questions. There is no biasness or anything else, or there will be no any weightage, extra weightage to the anything else. Okay, now on the next slide, I want to categorize this. In a two section. First is a theoretical section, and second is a practical section. First is a theoretical section, and second is a practical section. In the first section, I put it down: information and communication technology, people and environment, higher education system, teaching aptitude, research aptitude and communication. And in the second section, reading comprehension, mathematical reasoning, logical reasoning, and data interpretation. Okay, now the second section, practical section. In the practical section, remember that you can get the marks in a practical section if you practice this section more and more and more and more. At least in a 6 months, if you are targeting the next set or next net, and there will be 6 months, 6 months remaining for the next exam, and suddenly you remember that your paper number 1 is a week, then please give at least 1 hour per day. Don't need to give extra time for the paper number first, but still at least 1 hour per day. Solve the in the reading comprehension, they are giving the passages, and there will be the questions asked on the based on the passages. So you have to answer these questions. But because of a lack of time, we are not able to read this question, not able to read the particular paragraph properly, and we are about to get it wrong. Okay, mathematical reasoning, logical reasoning, data interpretations. Okay, in my case, in my experiences, the practical section was good for me. There was a 15 16 questions at that time, and out of 16 questions, 15 questions I got a right. Okay, now next, information and communication technology. There will be the question regarding the computer and computer basis. There was a question in my time that what is meant by the USB. What there was at that time, Sundar Pichai became the CEO of the Google in the 3 4 years back, 3.5 years back. So there was a question regarding Sundar Pichai is a native home. So uh, we all know that Sundar Pichai belong to the India. He is an Indian native, but we don't know his native home. So there was a question regarding that. People and environmental studies. Please remember the laws regarding the environment and the latest news about the environment. Is there any law? Is there any bill passed in the government in the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha? There will be a question regarding the people and environment. Higher education system. What is the higher education system? If there is a law, if same like a people and environment. If there is a law, if there are in the last year in 2019, Nate asked the question regarding the Swayam. So you know that the Swayam, right? So they asked the question about the Swayam. The what is happening latest in the higher education system, that's important, and they are going to ask the question about the higher education system and what your understanding about the UGC. Okay, who controls the all universities and colleges in India, University Grant Commission. Okay, now teaching aptitude, research aptitude, and communication. Teaching aptitude, you have to read. Research aptitude, you have to clear the concept what is meant by the research. It seems that there are lots of research students are also joined there, and lots of MS students are there. If there are any departmental students from the any kind of the university, in the every department there is a separate paper on the research methodology. But in the college level, there is no question paper, no, not paper like a research methodology. So they are unable to understand what is exactly meant by the research methodology. If I'm suggesting you for the research methodology, MLA handbook 9, please read at least one time a MLA handbook. But there are only the 5 questions. Okay, so it's total on you that if you are giving your time for the MLA handbook, it's almost 150 pages. So if you want to read that, and at least ask your students or ask your teachers that how to prepare a research paper, how to prepare a research proposal. While preparing for the proposal, while preparing for the research paper, there are the lots of points are there. What is meant by hypothesis, objectives, scope and limitations, review, what is meant by the review of the literature, what is meant by the conclusion and comparison. There are lots of points out there. And what are the technical things regarding the research, what is the MLA, what is meant by the MLA, what is meant by the APS style. There are the questions regarding that. So next, okay, I made a study based on the last 3 years clearing who qualified the exam in the last 3 years. Uh, I talked with more than 100 to 100 students, and it seems that who scored who scored more than 60 marks in the paper number first, they qualified the exam at any cost. Who scored more than, remember this thing, who scored more than the 60 marks, and mark it, note it down, who scored more than 60 marks in the paper number first, they will qualify the exam, and who score more than 70 marks in the particular paper number first, they are going to get the chair. Remember, note that, and I will bet on it. Okay, and who scored the less than 40 marks, there are the 55% of the students who failed the exam only because of the paper number first, because they scored 28, 24, 32 marks in a paper number first. They actually scored very nice and very good a paper number second, but they scored less than 40 marks in a paper number first. there are and one more thing, there is no any qualifying, it's not a qualifying paper, there is an overall qualification, overall qualifying nature, so no need to worry about paper number first. But this is the fact that if you are able to score more than 60 marks, you are going to clear any exam, net or set. And if you are going to get if you are scoring 70 marks, no one will stop you to clear the exam. Okay, now next, now the paper number second. So I was laughing whole day for yesterday while I was checking syllabus for the particular. Okay. Stop for a second, because I need your feedback and everything. If you have any question regarding the paper number first, you can ask in between, and we can move forward after that. Please.
If you have any question regarding paper number first, you can ask it now. Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
How to improve the mathematics?
It's okay, mathematical reasoning and mathematical aptitude. It's a question of every student who are not able to solve the question regarding the mathematics and the logical reasoning. It's only by practice, that's all. And I'm telling you, if you're from the Maharashtra or any state, I'm telling you, 7th grade student mathematical questions are they are asking, and we are not able to answer 7th grade students answer. Almost 7th grade level questions are there. There is alphabetical questions. In alphabetical questions, there are based on the square roots, and there are the cube roots are there. There is some kind of the link, and it will be solved only by the practice. It will improve only by the practice. That's the only way. I don't think there is another way to improve the mathematical reasoning. But I told you about the analysis of the question paper. Read the question paper, analyze the question paper, how they ask the questions before, and then you will get the idea how they are asking, and then you are able to cope up with it. Okay, now next.
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi, yeah, good morning.
Sir, my question is there any shortcut to solve the all the 5 questions of reading comprehension quickly?
Reading comprehension quickly.
Yeah, sir.
Right.
Because
How many times you read English newspaper?
uh, honestly, sir, once in a week or no,
Once
sir.
in a
Once in
almost
a
no.
week or no, sir. Yeah,
Once in a
mostly.
week, once in a week, it means almost no, right?
Yeah,
Reading comprehension, it means understanding of your language. They are asking you questions based on the paragraph, but they are not directly asking the question, right? Like what we did in the 6th, 7th, 8th standards, just find out the word in the particular paragraph and write down the answer. No, that's not happening here. They are asking the questions regarding the understanding of the paragraph. Okay, so remember these things. How to improve reading comprehension? You have to read more, you have to practice it, you have to read English, you have to read it again and again and again with the different paragraphs. Not only the newspapers, there are the cuttings in the newspaper, there are the editorials in the newspaper. Read any novels. If you are reading any kind of the novel, is it fantasy, fiction, non-fiction, either it doesn't matter, but still read it most. And you are able, if you are reading it the most, then you will be able to cope up with it, and then you are able to understand the language, then you are able to while you are understanding the language, then you are going to understand the meaning of the language and the meaning of the particular paragraph, and then only you are going to answer the particular comprehensive section.
thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Yes, Priyal is asking to recommend some books regarding paper number 1. Can you recommend a book or two?
Yeah, okay. There is a bulky book of Arihant, what I never referred, because while preparing, okay, in the beginning of the preparation, what we did, we are too enthusiastic to prepare for the exam. We want to read everything. We waste out our money like Arihant publication. Arihant publication is a too detailed study. It's a bulky books like this. It's almost 800 to 900 pages book. And if you're reading Arihant, I'm going to suggest you that you are not going to clear this exam, because they are making simple things very complicated. Okay, what I referred, I tell you, I referred Upkar publication. Okay, Upkar publication. only Upkar publication for a research methodology and teaching aptitude and mathematics and all everything in every area. Okay, and Manorama, I just referred to one magazine before the exam. I cleared the exam in 2018, 17-18. So I referred the only yearly book of Manorama, and that is, I think, 15-16 pages Manorama book. What actually happened in the higher education, what actually happened in the communication, what actually happened in the environmental. There is a 15 to 20 pages book, and I just read that, and out of 15 pages I got to write 7 questions. So I'm on the safe side. Okay, so don't worry about it. Doesn't matter if you're not able to answer every question, but you have to solve the questions as you want to. Okay, so I used the Upkar publication. I suggest you the Upkar publication. They are good, but I'm not suggesting you the very bulky books. And about the research aptitude and teaching aptitude, the most important thing is clearing the concept. What is an inductive method? What is a deductive method? What is meant by the objective in the research? What is meant by the hypothesis in the research? What is meant by MLA? What is meant by the APS style? You have to understand the concepts. If you are not able to clear your concept regarding the research methodology in the teaching or anything regarding the paper number first, then you are not able to score in the paper number first. Okay, so I used Upkar publication. I suggest you the Upkar publication. Arihant and more the bulky books are there. I'm not going to suggest you. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good
Please
morning.
tell me about time management for study.
Time management of paper number first. I am
Yes,
talking
sir.
about the paper number first, okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there are the 60 minutes. Okay, first thing, there are the 60 minutes. You know, actually, everyone knows that they are best at the particular section. Okay, everyone knows. Like me, I was good at a mathematical reasoning or the practical section. I know that. Okay, so I start to solve the questions regarding the maths and regarding to the maths. Okay, so I'm not saving my time, but I'm giving the more time to the section what I'm sure about. Okay, about the time management, there are first there was a 70 not 70, yeah, 75 minutes for the first paper, but now it's cut down to the 60 minutes. So you remember only thing in your mind, there are only 1 minute for your per question. If you're not able to solve your first question, or if you're not understanding the question in the second reading, read the question first, then read it again. If you're not able to understand your question in the second reading, leave the question as it is there and move ahead. Prepare and focus on what you are good at. Okay, if you are good at a mathematical reasoning, if you are good at a logical reasoning, and if you are good at a general knowledge, like I told you, just higher education system, environmental studies, and all information technology, if you are good at, please solve those questions first and leave everything behind. Okay, so this is the only time management technique I have. That what I did, I told you that I did what I want to know. No, sorry, what I'm good at, I solve it first, and then I turn to the another sections. So I suggest you do the same. But if you have any kind of other strategy, then, and if you're not able to, I told you just, if you're not able to understand the question in the second reading, leave the question as it is, because you don't have to time to think over it. Okay, you have just 60 minutes and leave it as it is. Okay, thank you.
Sir, I think we should turn to the paper number second.
Yeah, it's almost 10:50,
Yes, sir.
and I want to, ma'am, will you please share the slide about the paper number second?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a slide number 8 only. Okay, it's a paper number second. While I was reading on the UGC net website, there was a paper number second syllabus, and they had given the syllabus like this: drama, poetry, fiction, short story, non-fictional, prose, language, basic concept, theories, pedagogy, English in use, English in India, history, evolution, future, culture studies, literary criticism, literary theory, post-World War, second, research methods, and material in India. And the clip art shows that I want to kill that person who wrote this kind of the syllabus, because if your drama, you are defining in one word drama, you are going to ask the question on the drama, you are going to ask the question on the poetry, you are going to ask the fiction short story. This is what happened with me, the clip art. Next slide, please. Okay, I suggest you to study English literature. Go through this sequence: first British literature, second American literature, Third, European literature, French and German. Fourth, Commonwealth literature, Australian, Canadian, South African, Nigerian, Kenyan. Then Indian literature, and then Russian literature. Okay, why I'm suggesting to study in this particular sequence? See, in the last 5 years, if I'm analyzing it very well, there are the 49% questions based on the British literature. There are the 10% questions are related to the American literature. There are the 8% questions related to the Commonwealth literature. There are the only 4% questions related to the Indian literature, and there are only one question. But it's constant about Russian literature. The the important thing is it's a constant about Russian literature is they are majorly asking about Russian literature at least one question. Okay, and about cultural studies they are asking 11 questions. 11 questions cultural studies. There are questions related to the theory. Okay, so I'm suggesting you to study as it is, as I told you. First, read the British literature, then go to the American literature, then European literature, French, German, then Commonwealth literature, Australian, Canadian, South African, Nigerian, Kenyan, then Indian literature, then Russian literature. Okay, now to the next slide, please. Okay, British literature. What you are going to read in the British literature? First thing, there are lots of slides are there, but I'm just giving you the overview about the British literature and what to read, and how to remember these things, and how many times you have to read, and what is the most important thing in the British literature, and what is the not important in British literature. Okay, there are the major periods in the British literature: Greco-Roman period, early Britain, early history of Britain, Old English literature, and Middle English period. In major English Greco-Roman period, you have to study Achilles, Sophocles, Euripides, Aristophanes, Menander, Pinta, Plato, Aristotle, Virgil, Horace, Ovid, Seneca, Younger, Plato's, and Terence. And early British literature, there are the history of the Celts, Romans in Britain, how the Romans came into the Britain, and there are the history of Anglo-Saxons. There are the King Arthur. There is the first major work in English literature, that is a Beowulf. There is a Alfred and Vikings, Norman conquest of 1066. Then in Old English literature, Middle English period, need to study the particular famine, the what is the Black Day, the 100 years of the war in British literature, the Pleasant Revolt, the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the invention of printing by the William Caxton. Do you know William Caxton in 1473 published, first time he published, William Caxton in the printing, recalls of the histories of the Troy. Okay, in Westminster Press, there was a first, it's a probably, we don't know anything. Probably William Caxton printed the Canterbury Tales firstly in the Westminster Press. And with the date, there was a first time on the date of the particular paper or the particular novel, and that was the dictates and the sayings of the philosophers. It was published in 18 November 1477. It's almost 600 years back. Remember. Okay, now what I want to tell you that these 4 points, major periods and major writers: Greco-Roman period, early history of Britain, Old English literature, and Middle English period. You have to read only the 4 to 5 times notes of any classes. Okay, there will be the notes regarding these 4 periods. There will be the notes. Notes of at least 15-20 pages notes regarding this, and you have to read these questions. Okay, how they will ask the question about the Greco-Roman period? They will ask the questions like this. Okay, in which of the following Middle English poem? Okay, there is a question regarding this particular period. Is that the question is like this: in which of the following Middle English poem is Hector a character? Hector, we know Hector. Everyone know Hector. Hector.
Yes.
Yes, Hector. Hector is a character. Okay, there was option: Troilus and Cresside, second Pierce and Plowman, third the Seafarer, and fourth is Beowulf. Okay, if suppose you don't know anything about this question, but you know the Hector, you don't know answer. Okay, remember that Pierce and Plowman and Beowulf were written by the British writers, and it mostly Beowulf and Pierce Plowman, they are regarding the early English literature, and they are talking about their the Catholicism and the themes of church. What the church told them, they are following that. So it's impossible that Pierce the Plowman and Beowulf have the character Hector. Okay. And the Seafarer, we don't know Seafarer. I also don't know the Seafarer. Who wrote the Seafarer? I don't know. But I only have the option that the Troilus and Cresside. Troilus and Cressida. Okay, and Hector is a character from the Greek mythology. So remember that if there is no Pierce and Plowman, if there is not a Beowulf, and if there is not a seafarer, then there will be the only one option, that is a Troilus and Cressida, and this is the right answer. Troilus and Cressida will be the right answer, and they will ask the question like this. Okay, overall. Okay, now next, Chaucer and contemporaries. What is the remember? Here, what is the remember? Chaucer is the most important writer. Remember this thing. Chaucer is the most important writer. Along with the Canterbury Tales, I'm repeating it again. Along with the Canterbury Tales, every work of the Chaucer is important. The House of the Wind, the Parliament of the Falls, Trials and Cressida, the Legend of the Good Woman, Legend of Saint Cecilia, Ptolemy and Arcade, and Treatise on the Aristotle. Treatise on the Aristotle and all. Everything is important. Yeah, you can see on the slide there I was written 29, 21, 23, 24. What is it? Anyone can tell me what is 29, 21, 23, 29? How to remember? Now remember this thing. If there is a writer like a Chaucer and you are not able to remember every work of art by the Chaucer, just read the Canterbury Tales and leave it. And how to remember the Canterbury Tales? Okay, now why I wrote it 29, 21, 23, 24 everywhere. In my notes also I wrote it 29, 29, 21, 23, 24. Why? Anyone? Okay, leave it. There are the 29 pilgrimages. Are there? 29 pilgrimages. There are pen picture of a 21 character. Okay. There are pen picture of 21 character. There are 23 pilgrimages told the story, but there are 24 stories, and 2 stories told by the Chaucer himself. The stories are Sir Thomas, the tale of Sir Thomas and the tale of Meliboeus. Okay, remember this time. Remember, if you are remembering Chaucer, like okay, Chaucer is there, Chaucer is there, Chaucer is there, Canterbury Tales 29, there will be 29 tales, 29 tales, 21 character, 29 pilgrimages, and all. You are not going to remember these things. So there are the contemporaries of Chaucer. William Langland is important, John Gower is important, and about the William Langland, who wrote the Pierce and Plowman, John Gower wrote the Speculum and Medentis, Vox Clementis, Confessio Mentis, John Legit. Okay, I want to tell you one thing more. John Gower is important because it's kind of the favorite character of the question paper setter. They are asking the questions about John Gower again and again. I think in the last 5 years they asked the question 3 times about the John Gower. Leaving the Chaucer behind, John Gower is important now. So please read the John Gower. Okay. Now next slide. Then there is Sir Thomas More, Utopia, which was published in 1516. There's Sir Thomas White and Earl of Surrey. Remember Sir Thomas White, who introduced the sonnet to the English, right? Remember? Now next, then Sir Thomas White and the Earl of Surrey first published. There was a first collection of the sonnets. It was published in the 1557. That's called as the Totals Miscellany. Why I wrote the 1557, 27, 271, 36, 91, 40, Nicholas Grinnell. What is this? This is my note making style. Okay, Totals Miscellany written by the Sir Thomas White and Earl of Surrey. It was published in 1557. It has 271 poems. It has a 271 poems. And then the Earl of Surrey wrote 36. Thomas White wrote 91 poems, 40 wrote by the Nicholas Grimbald, and I think there was one poem written in Totals Miscellany that was also by the Chaucer. Okay, the phonics next. Then the next after the Totals Miscellany, there was a thing called the phonics. There was second anthology of a sonnet. It was published in 1593. Okay, now next, then you have to deal with the William Shakespeare. That's why I keep in a bracket that as per your ability to deal with it, because I didn't understand the Shakespeare till a date, and I leaved it as it is. As per, if you are preparing for the particular NET and set exam, I suggest you to leave the Shakespeare as it is, because there are only 4 questions maximum asked on the Shakespeare. Again, now next, then Elizabethan theatre, history of a theatre. You have to understand what is the Elizabethan theatre. If you are leaving the Shakespeare behind, then you have to know what is meant by the Elizabethan theatre. What is the history of a theatre? Globe theatre was there at a period of the Shakespeare. Okay, the Globe theatre. There was a lots of theatres emerged in England at that time. There was Elizabethan. Queen Elizabeth was funding for the theatre. Okay, now uh, and you also have to remember the famous actors at that time. I think there was a writer called Thomas Green. He was also a writer at that time. Then there was three writers, three actors are there who are the most famous, because in the last through 3 4 years they asked the question about the writers, they asked the question about the theater, they asked the question about the Shakespeare. They asked the question about the Shakespearean period, but they didn't ask the directly question about the Shakespeare. They only asked what are the contemporary theaters to the Shakespeare. Okay, so remember this thing. You have to know the history of a theatre. You have to know the famous actors of the Shakespearean period. There are the Thomas Norton, who wrote Gordon 1956, sorry, 1561. Then the Shakespearean contemporaries. You have to read the Philip Sidney's Astrophil and Stella, Arcadia. Philip Sidney is important, right? Write it down. This is the most important writer in the Elizabethan age, most important poet, Sir Philip Sidney. Astrophil and Stella, Arcadia, Apology for Poetry, written by Philip Sidney, and it is important. Okay, now Philip Sidney wrote an apology for poetry in 1595, but it was a reply to the Gaussian school of abuse. Gaussian. You have to interlink everything. Interlink. If you are remembering Gaussian as Philip Sidney as a different way, is it as it they are the different writers, then you are not going to remember these things. Sir Philip Sidney, okay, Sir Philip Sidney wrote the poetry, apology for poetry in 1595. But why he wrote apology for poetry? He wrote apology for poetry in reply to the Gaussian school of abuse, because Gaussian wrote the school of abuse in 1579. And for the apology for poetry, the George Puttenhamen, the art of English poetry dedicated to the Sir Philip Sidney. George Puttenhamen's the art of English poetry is dedicated to the Sir Philip Sidney. You have to interlink it. Sir Walter Raleigh, Edmund Spencer's Shepherd's Calendar, the Fairy Queen, and I think that the Shepherd's Calendar, Fairy Queen, Amority, and Hypothalamian, either of four out of four, or one out of four, it is prescribed for syllabus. So it's important to study the note making at a MA level itself. Okay, the next slide, please. Then you have to study the university weights. What is it about the university weights? Oxford and Cambridge. Okay, what is it, 1 and 2? It means they are asking the question, one or two questions regarding the university weights, about the regarding university weights, or the writers belong to the university weights. The writers belong to the university weights are John Lilly, George Peele, Thomas Lodge, Thomas Green, Thomas Nash, and Christopher Marlowe. And do you know who is the most famous in the particular Elizabethan age? That was Shakespeare itself. But after the Shakespeare, there was a Christopher Marlowe. Sometimes consider that Christopher Marlowe is a Shakespeare. Okay, remember this thing. This is interesting. Make it interesting. Create your own interest in the particular literature field. That only help you to create this kind of exam. Okay. Now next. There was a Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson was the father of comedy of humor. Every Man in His Humour, his play. Wolfman is a play. If you see or The Silent Woman is play. The Alchemist, The Bartholomew Fair. There will be one question, 100% one question is on the Ben Jonson. 100%. On a set, in a net, 100% question. So read Ben Jonson thoroughly. Then there will be Francis Bacon. Do you know Francis Bacon is the most famous for his essays. And in the last 10 years, not a single year, Maharashtra said skip the Francis Bacon. Every time they ask the question about the Francis Bacon, and every time most of the students get right or wrong. Okay, 100% one question in the set. Okay, now there is John Donne. John Donne is the most famous. John Donne. Who is John Donne? It's a metaphysical poet. Remember metaphysical poets. He wrote the five satires, 20 elegies, 90 holy sonnets, and 90 holy sonnets called as the divine meditations. Remember the next. What is the Jacobean period? There will be questions regarding the Jacobean period, or on the basis of the Jacobean period, there will be one or two questions regarding the Jacobean period. There are the revenge comedy, revenge tragedy introduced, city comedy, tragic comedy, mask and anti-mask. Also the Ben Jonson is related to the mask, and Camus, the play entitled The Mask, entitled Camus, written by the John Milton. John Milton is also the Jacobean period. It's the most important writer. And what are the other important writers? George Chapman, Thomas Howard. Remember, every writer, I put it on a slide. These are the most important writer in history of English literature, in history of the British literature. Thomas Chapman, Thomas Howard, Thomas Laker, Thomas Marston, Cyril Turner, John Webster, who wrote Duchess of Malfi. John Webster, important. They will ask the question in the set, 100% question, John Webster and Ben Jonson. So,
So John Webster, Duchess of Malfi, The White Devil, Beaumont and Frobisher. Do you know there is also contribution contribution to the Shakespeare and Fletcher also wrote one play. Shakespeare and Beaumont also wrote a play. Then the Ben Jonson and Fletcher also wrote a play. You have to relate everything. You have to remember everything. Their connections. Thomas Middleton, Ben Jonson, and Chapman wrote a Eastward Ho. Okay, Philip Messenger also contributed with also contributed with the Shakespeare. John Ford, James Shirley, these are the important writers. They're the early 17th century. Samuel Denial, Michael Crichton, Amelia Lanner, Phineas Fletcher, Lady Mary Walk, Robert Burton, Joseph Hall. Do you know how to remember Amelia Lanner? If you don't remember 17th century every writer, forget it. How to remember Amelia Lanner? Amelia Lanner, do you know Amelia Lanner is the wife of the first patron of the Shakespeare? And suppose sometimes it's considered that the dark lady from the Shakespearean sonnet is Amelia Lanner. Shakespeare secretly loves her. Okay, now next. That's how we English literature people have the most weird mind in the world. So if you want to remember something, then remember this thing. Shakespeare had some secret affair with Amelia Lanner. Who is Amelia Lanner? Amelia Lanner is one of the writers of the 17th century also, and Amelia Lanner is also the wife of the first patron of the Shakespeare. Okay, now next. The Civil War period. Civil War period between the 1640 to the 1660. There will be the 2 to 3 questions asked on the Civil War period. Either it's on the Cavalier poets, either it's on the John Milton, or the during the Civil War writers, or the metaphysical and Cavaliers, and all. There will be question regarding it. John Milton, most important. L'Allegro, In Penseroso, Lycidas, Epitaphium. Epitaphium Damages, Areopagitica, Iconoclastus, Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, Samson Against. These are the most important work of the John Milton. Please write John Milton. Please read John Milton, because they are asking questions regarding the John Milton every year. Not a single year they skip John Milton, because his contribution to the social reforms also by the John Milton are remarkable. Okay, so remember, they are going to ask the question about the John Milton. They are the writers during the Civil War. They are the minor writers like Thomas Brown, Thomas Fuller, Jeremy Taylor, Isaac Walton, Thomas Hobbes. They asked the question about Thomas Hobbes in the last year, in 2019. They asked the question about Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan. Okay, so, and you know, we are in the last 6-8 years. We support everything from the Corona pandemic. Thomas Hobbes is the first in the Leviathan. Point out that the world ends with the virus. He told it in the 17th century. Remember that. That's how we done. Then the metaphysical poetry. John Donne, Abraham Cowley, Andrew Marvell, and John Cleveland. There are lots of periods and literature in the Civil War. But metaphysical, how to remember metaphysical poetry? John Donne, Abraham Cowley, Andrew Marvell, and John Cleveland. Do you know T.S. Eliot also criticized the metaphysical poetry? T.S. Eliot belonged to the 20th century writers. Then metaphysical and Cavaliers. Robert Herrick, Thomas Carey, regional metaphysical. George Herbert, Richard Crashaw. Okay. Then Richard Crashaw, they asked the question Richard Crashaw in 2018. Remember, pamphleteering. In 17th century, there was a beginning of the pamphleteering. Okay. Then it was a restoration period. Samuel Butler is important. Hudibras, written by the Samuel Butler. Sir William Davenant. Sometimes it's considered that William Davenant is the son of Shakespeare. Sometimes we don't know. No one claimed that. But sometimes it's considered that Sir William Davenant is the son of Shakespeare. It's a bastard son of the Shakespeare. Okay. So the Thomas Pilgrim, John Dryden, the father of criticism. Okay, father of criticism. Who called John Dryden the father of criticism? Dr. Johnson. Do you know Dr. Johnson, who wrote the first dictionary in the world, first dictionary of the words in the world, who wrote with the Boswell and Dr. Johnson wrote the first dictionary. John Dryden, important. John Dryden's every work of art. Please read. There are 2 questions asked every year in the set, and 1 question asked on the Dryden every year on the net. So Asterius, Annus Mirabilis, Absalom and Achitophel, Middle, Macbeth, no, Alexander Feast, Conquest of Granada, important. Restoration comedy, there will be the 1 question, 100%. William Wycherley, William Congreve, most important. John Mithray, George Farquhar, John Vanbar, and William Sibber. Among them, William Congreve is important, concentrated on William Congreve. Then there was Licensing Act in 1737. What happened after 1737? Why Licensing Act was there? Because the restoration comedy writers like William Wycherley, William Congreve, they are constantly criticizing the government. That's why the prime minister at the time of uh, at the time of 1737 introduced the Licensing Act of 1737. Okay. What happened after the 1737? There was a rise of a novel. If you want to remember everything, then you have to remember a period wise. You can't remember. You have to know the cultural. You have to know cultural implications. You have to know social changes. You have to know contribution of the writers at the period, and you have to know this particular acts in the particular period. That's why I told you the importance of the Black Famine, the importance of the Black Death. These are the important, because these particular natural phenomena are impacted in the particular literature. Okay. Afra Ben is the first writer, epistolary writer who changed the face of the epistolary writer. Afra Ben, almost early women writers, Eliza Haywood, Diaries of Pepys and Evelyn. Okay, now next, Augustine poetry and fiction. Clubs, coffee houses, and groups are introduced. Among Augustine prose and poetry, you know the four pillars of novel that Samuel Richardson, Henry Benning, Florence and
Smart.
Hello, excuse me. Do you want to say something?
Yes.
No, sir. You may continue. I'm just telling the answer of the four pillars of the novels of the English.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Daniel Defoe, Jonathan Swift, Joseph Addison, Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding. These are the important writers, but you just have to remember they are not a major work, but the minor work. They never ask the question in the NET and SEC exam about the major works like Gulliver Travels, Pamela, Clarissa. They never ask the questions about this major works of particular writers. They ask every time they ask the question about the minor works of this writer. So please read that. Sentimental comedy and tragedy. It was introduced in Augustine poetry. Next, the Romanticism. We know that the Romanticism, but while remembering the Romanticism, don't remember according to the writer. Remember about the characteristics. Next slide, please. Romanticism. Okay. Next. Self-expression is a characteristic. Freedom, authentic feeling, natural language, individualism, profit, searching for the infinite, revolt against literary convention. These are the themes of the Romanticism. If you are remembering the themes of the particular period, you are able to guess the answer. There are 30 to 35% questions are there that you are not sure about your answers, and you are able to answer this question by guess only. It's only because only after if you recognize the particular characteristics of the particular period. Okay, there are the minor poets like John Dyer, James Thomson, Oliver Goldsmith, Thomas Gray, William Blake, William Collins, William Cowper, James Macpherson, Thomas Chatterton. These are the minor poets of the Romanticism. Major poets everyone knows. I'm not going to deal with it. Gothic romances written by the Anne Radcliffe, Horace Walpole, Charlotte Smith, Mary Wollstonecraft, Jean Rice, Sir Walter Scott. Okay. Next, Jane Austen is also belong to the Romantic period. Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen. Please read Jane Austen in British literature. Please read it. Please read it. There are some major writers, there are some minor writers. Please read those writers carefully. Jane Austen is important. Pride and Prejudice, Emma, Senses, Sensibility. And I want to tell you one more way to understand the novel or understanding the writer, that there is on every novel of Jane Austen, there is a movie. Watch the movies. If you are not understanding the history of Troy, then please watch the movie Troy. You are able to understand the history of Troy. Who is Hector? Who is Paris? Who is Agamemnon? Who is Menelaus? You are able to understand the relation between them, and then only you are able to guess the answer, and then only you are able to get the correct answers. Okay, there is if you are not understanding the Pride and Prejudice by reading, there is a movie, Emma movie, Sensibility movie. Every novel, or there is a movie on every novel by the Jane Austen. There is a movie. Okay, now there is a Victorian prose and poetry. Alfred Lord Tennyson, important. Ulysses. The poem Ulysses written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And do you know who wrote the novel Ulysses? James Joyce. Remember these things. always connect everything with something different. Connectivity and interconnectivity between the prose, poetry, and drama, between the periods, it helps you to remember everything. Alfred Lord Tennyson wrote a poem named Ulysses, and James Joyce wrote a novel named Ulysses. And do you know it was published in 2022? No, sorry, 1922. 1922. Do you know what happened in 1922 again? Again. Do you know Westland also published in 1922? Happened in 1923. If you're remembering this thing, interlinking everything, also now modern author written by the Alfred Lord Tennyson, or lay modern author in early English student written by the Thomas Mallory. Okay, modern Locks Me On, In Memoriam Ages, In an Order. And the Robert Browning is important. Elizabeth Barrett Browning wrote a sonnet from the Little Portuguese. I don't know what is affection of the said question papers of the Maharashtra, but they have a unimaginable bonding with Elizabeth Barrett Browning, because they ask almost every year about the Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and then every year they are asking about the sonnet from the Little Portuguese. Okay, now next there is Matthew Arnold, father of new criticism. Sorry, father of modern criticism. It's considered as Matthew Arnold, Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. There are Letitia Rossetti, W. Shine, John Milius, Christina Rossetti, A.C. Swinburne, William Morris. Clear the concept. Why it is called as a pre-Raphaelite? Clearing the concept is the most important thing while you are clearing the exam. If you are forgiving or if you are leaving some writers, it doesn't matter. But if you are leaving particular period and particular age, you are not able to understand what is the question itself. Okay, there was a term coined by a new woman called by Sarah Grant. Then the utilitarianism, Stuart Mill, Cardinal Newman. Then the Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens also belonged to the Victorian. Charles Dickens is the most famous. Please read. I don't have any time for that. So I'm jumping to the 19th century. 19th century, important. W. Bates. I think W. Bates is covered for everyone's syllabus. So I think at least have the basic idea about W. Bates. Then remember about the aesthetic movements. Aesthetic movement, Walter Peter. They are the end of the 19th century. Oscar Wilde, a woman of no importance, an ideal husband, the importance of being earnest, as written by Oscar Wilde. J.M. Hopkins, Prang Rhythm, related to J.M. Hopkins, the Windsor and to the Christian Overlord. J.M. Hopkins is important for the net, not for the set, because they never ask the question about the set and ask the question about the J.M. Hopkins in a set, but they ask the question about in a net almost thrice. In the 5 years, they asked 3 times question about the J.M. Hopkins. Then the avant-garde movement. Do you know futurism? The avant-garde movement started in the end of the 19th century. There was futurism, impressionism, expressionism, surrealism, Dadaism. Dadaism was flourished in the Switzerland, surrealism in the Paris, expressionism in the Germany, impressionism in the France, futurism in Italy. So what is exactly meant by the impressionism, expressionism, surrealism? Dadaism, it's not only in the literature, it's in the whole art, in the paintings, in the music, in everywhere. Then the 20th century, then the Rudyard Kipling, John Galsworthy, Arnold Webster, H.G. Wells, Joseph Conrad, E.M. Foster, Ford Madox Ford. Everyone is important. You have to read everyone. Remember, and while I'm going to tell you the technique of the remembering, but just remember these writers are important. And the Georgian poetry, W.S. Davis, Rupert Brooke, John Trent Porter, John Mansfield. War poets are Rupert Brooke, Alfred Owen, Robert Graves. I think Rupert Brooke or Alfred Owen, one of them's poem was described in 10th or 9th year non-standard syllabus of Maharashtra. So G.B. Shaw, C. O'Casey, James Sinch, they are the writers. Okay, next, these are the important writers. I have only written here the important writers. I am not concentrating on the minor writers, but you have to read thoroughly. Okay, now modernism. There was a T.H. Lawrence, James Joyce. I told you. James Joyce wrote Ulysses. Okay, who wrote Ulysses poem? Alfred Lord Tennyson. Right. Alfred Lord Tennyson also wrote a modern author and lay modern author written by Thomas Mallory. You have to interconnect it. I'm telling you. James Joyce also wrote 15 short stories, and it was published in the Dubliners. And he created a character, Stephen Dedalus. And the Stephen Dedalus is the same in the portrait of artist as a young man. He is the protagonist of the portrait of artist as a young man. So please remember that. It's an important work of art by the James Joyce. Imagist movement. Now there was a question about Isra Pond. Someone asked a question. One second. No. Okay, I'm not, I don't remember now, but there's a question about Desra Pond, about the images movement and all, but still I don't remember that. Okay, now there was a T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot is important as a critic, not as a poet. And if you want to read the poem about T.S. Eliot, please go through the Westland. Then as a when I was when I appeared for the NET exam, there was a question on the murder in the cathedral. Okay, so you have to remember about the murder in the cathedral itself. Then the Virginia Woolf Bloomsbury group. What is the Bloomsbury group? They are the group of people who are belong to the University of. There is a Bloomsbury group under the Virginia Woolf and Leonard Hope. There are the 14 or 15 members are there. Then the Mrs. Dalloway is famous by the Virginia Woolf. To the Lighthouse, Room of Home. You know, to the Lighthouse, Mrs. Dalloway. These are the remarkable work of art of the Virginia Woolf. It enthusiasts every generation till a date. Most of the writers are turned to the literature only because of this kind of the remarkable works by the Virginia Woolf. They are the wave of feminism in 20th century, second wave of feminism. Then there are the violent poets. There are the Max Ponday. T.S. Eliot criticized them as a Max Ponday. They all are bisexual. W. Jordan, Louis MacNeil, Cecil D. Lewis, Christopher Hitchens, all are bisexual, and that's why T.S. Eliot personally called them Max Ponday. It criticized them, to ridicule them. Max Ponday is also clue to remember these four names. Max Ponday. Mac means MacNeil. Spawn. It's Spawn. It means Christopher Isherwood. And Day. It means Cecil Day Lewis and Auden. Okay. J.B. Priestley, Evelyn Waugh. These are important. Post-World War, Holocaust was there. George Orwell's criticizing work of art. Animal Farm. There was a question in the SET exam last year. Winton Smith is a character from which novel? Everyone knows it's from the 1984 written by the George Orwell. Okay, there was a C.P. Snow, Anthony Powell. There was a new apocalypse poetry. Then there was a Seamus Heaney, Bach poems. Seamus Heaney is important for the NET because they are asking the question every year on the Seamus Heaney. I think in the last year also they asked the question in 2019, 2018. It means once in a year. They are asking on the Seamus Heaney once in a year. So remember that. Then there was Angry Young Man movement. Then there was a kitchen sink realism. Then there was a introduction of the absurd theater. What is the absurd theater? Then there was absurd writers of the Samuel Beckett, Harold Pinter. Right? Okay. Then there was Peter Shaffer, Sarah Churchill. These are the most important writers for your NET exam, upcoming NET exam. Peter Shaffer, Cyril Churchill, David Harry. Okay, because there are also screenplay writers. There are also screenplay writers. There are also novelist writers, and there are also directors. So they are asking the questions combinedly. Okay, now beginning to the American literature, I just need a 10 minutes more, and then we will go turn to the question and answer. Okay, now American literature, we have to know Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine is most important person in American literature. American literature, why? It's also the British. He is also natively British, but he actually inspired the people from the America to for the full freedom in a Rights of Man in 1791. Do you know Rights of Man? Rights of Man, written by the Thomas Paine. It was against the reply to the Edmund Burke's French Revolution of 1790. Okay, here I want to tell you how to remember things. One link. Okay, one link. Only one link, and then I will go to the next. Okay, while you are remembering this thing, remember Thomas Paine wrote the Rights of Man to encourage the people of America in 1791. He was criticizing Edmund Burke's French Revolution, which was published in 1790. 1792 is the most important year of the feminism because there was the first feminist manuscript was published by the Mary Wollstonecraft, Vindication of the Rights of Women, which was published in 1792. Okay, 1792. Who is Mary Wollstonecraft? Mary Wollstonecraft is the mother of Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley, who is Mary Shelley? Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein. Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein, which was published in 1888. Okay, now Mary Shelley is the wife of P.B. Shelley. P.B. Shelley is belong to the P.B. Shelley is belong to the romantic writers, romanticism. P.B. Shelley. Prem Shelley stood third. Why third? There, while we are remembering major romantic writers, we are remembering like this: William Wordsworth, yes, T. Coleridge, P.B. Shelley, John Keats, and Byron. Why we have to remember these things? Because William Wordsworth born first, died last. Lord Byron born last, died first. Sequence. This is the technique. Okay, I was dealing with Mary Shelley and P.B. Shelley. Mary Shelley was a wife of P.B. Shelley. Mary, who is husband, who is father of Mary Shelley? William Godwin. William Godwin wrote Gothic novels. Okay, there is a link. This is a link. This is how you remember these things. How many things you remember now? William Godwin, the Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Shelley, P.B. Shelley, and the link of romantic poets. This is how you have to remember and interlink everything. Okay, Washington Irving is considered as the father of short story in America. Rip Van Winkle, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, it's important. Phyllis Wheatley, the American Frontier. The Frontier case is written by the friend Frederick Jackson Turner. Okay, this is important. American Renaissance, the Harriet Beecher Stowe, Harriet Wilson, Frederick Douglass Johnson, important writers of early America. Okay, then we are going to turn to the romances. Then Nathaniel Hawthorne, important. House of Seven Gables, the Brittle romance, the Scarlet Letter, they are by the Nathaniel Hawthorne. Then Herman Melville wrote a typing, Philippa, White Jacket, Moby Dick. Then Edgar Allan Poe, Transcendentalist movement was there. Then Abolitionist movement was there. Then lots of things are there. Then here you have to remember Transcendentalism is important. The member of Transcendentalist movement, that was Ralph Waldo Emerson, Thoreau, Fuller, Channing, Bronson Alcott, and do you know that Transcendentalism was influenced by the German Romanticism, Hindu and Buddhist thought. This is the most important thing. Okay, and the journal was a dial was the journal. It was suggested by the Fuller. It was suggested by the Henry David Thoreau, and the first editor of the dial was the Margaret Fuller. Okay, the Emerson. Emerson wrote the Nature in 1936. The Brahma. Emerson had an immense impact of Hindu mythology. See, he also wrote a poem entitled The Brahma. Okay, now Henry David Thoreau, older, The Life in Woods, Paradise Regained, and Civil Disobedience. It said that Mahatma Gandhi had influence from Henry David Thoreau's essay called Civil Disobedience. While you are remembering our link and their link, this is how you remember. And the Walt Whitman is important. Brahmin poets, fireside poets. Fireside poets are important because said name in the both way they are asking the questions on the fireside poets. Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, John Winter, Oliver Wendell Holmes, James Lowell, William Cullen Bryant. These are the poets. Okay, and the first time in history, American poets are getting a name in the world canon only because of the fireside poem. There was Emily Dickinson. I don't want to talk about Emily Dickinson. She is a phenomenon. Okay, you have to read yourself. And the realistic period, nationalistic period, Mark Twain, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Margaret Mitchell, Gone with the Wind. Then I want to tell you that Mark Twain wrote The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and Ernest Hemingway said that this novel changed the way of American literature. Okay, this question asked in 2017. Who quoted about Huckleberry Finn? This novel changed the way of American literature. That's Ernest Hemingway. Edith Wharton, The Age of Innocence. It was the first woman in American history who won the Pulitzer Prize. Remember? Okay. Now, nationalism, nationalism movement. There was Stephen Crane, Theodore Dreiser, Jack London, Frank Norris, Roaring Twenties. There was a Depression era. You have to remember now. There are lots of things are there. I'm not able to tell you in one lecture, but still, I feel that I have to jump to the next point. Lots of things are there, lots of writers are there, but contemporary writers, please jump to the slide number 35. Okay, now there is a last slide of the American literature. You just have to remember these names because these are the most important writers of the contemporary period, and they are asking the questions about this writer again and again. J.D. Salinger, Harper Lee, Vladimir Nabokov, who wrote Lolita, Norman Mailer, then Kurt Vonnegut, Joseph Heller, John Updike. Then the African American writers have also important. In the 1920s, there was a Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance, there was a writer named Alan Locke who wrote the book The New Negro. It was published in 1925, and the New Negro. There were the characteristics of the Harlem Renaissance, and there was suppression by the white people of the white Americans, or by the white Americans to the black Americans. They told everything about it. Okay, and it was that's why it's also called as the New Negro movement. There was the most important writers of the Harlem Renaissance are the Zora Neale Hurston, W. Du Bois, then Claude McKay, Richard, Langston Hughes.
Langston.
Yeah, correct. Langston Hughes, and Alan Locke. Okay, then now we are turning to cultural studies because they are asking again 13, 14, 15 questions regarding the cultural studies, and this is the most important, and this is totally different from the. This is the only point they changed in the new syllabus. Otherwise, the syllabus is the same as it is from the 2011. There is the only thing changed in the cultural studies. This is the change. I want to tell you the most important writers of the cultural studies. These are the uh, 8 writers are most important. Richard Hogarth, top most important. Raymond Williams, second topmost. Stuart Hall, E.P. Thompson, we have Paul Willis, Angela McRobbie, Paul Gilroy, and Roman Mallory. These are the only 8 writers. You have to study these only 8 writers in the perspective of the cultural studies, and you are able to understand everything about it. Okay, now next. There is a literary theory, another type. Another chapter. They are asking the questions 7 to 9 questions about a literary theory. I put it here chart, and I don't think there is a need to read everything about it because there are lots of theories. Like I just put it some major writers and major theories of the writer. Chronotop, dialogics, carnivalus, heteroglossa. It was by Mikhail Bakhtin. Deconstruction, difference, archae-writing, dissemination, and logocentrism by Jacques Derrida, genealogy, discuss, episteme, power and knowledge, archaeology by Michael Foucault, defamiliarization by the Victor Shklovsky. Okay, Sigmund Freud, we know that Sigmund Freud, I don't need to be the introduce the Sigmund Freud. Adrian Rich, who told about the compulsory heterosexuality. Do you know Adrian Rich is belong to the confessional poetry also? It was a part of American literature. Confessional poetry, Sylvia Plath, Adrian Rich, Robert Lovell, William S. Burroughs, then Anne Sexton. These are the writers of confessional poetry. Beat generation writers are there. Lots of things are there. Then there was a second chart regarding the theory. I think Roland Barthes is important. Creature, readerly, writerly, archaeology. These are all the theories are important. They are asking the random questions about the theory. I am not sure how they are asking the questions, the random questions about it, but they are asking the questions about the theory. And these are the major things. If you memorize everything in this two chart, you are able to at least you are able to answer 2 out of 1 question about theory. 50% question about the theory. Okay, now Commonwealth literature, it's common literature, European literature, Australian, Canadian, South African, Nigerian, Kenyan, Indian, German, and French. Okay, now I have to tell you some major writers, and you only have to study these major writers for the set and net exam. There is no need to read everything from the beginning to the end, but just remember these are the only important writers. I will do first. I have to deal with the Indian literature. There is no need to read the 3 pillars like. What I call
R.K. Rajarao.
yeah, correct. R.K. Narayan Rajarao, yeah, correct. Mulk. No need to deal with that because they are not asking the questions about them because they are the pre-independence writers. So please concentrate about if you are they are asking the 4 to 5 questions about Indian literature, fine. But if you are not able to answer, that's also fine. And if you have the common sense, if you have the paper in the MA level and the BA level about the Indian literature, you have the basic understanding of the Indian literature, then you are able to answer at least 2 questions out of 5. So don't worry about it. The important writers are Amitabh Ghosh, Vikram Seth, Meena Alexander, Manju Kapoor. I think some of the writers are here you never heard about it. Meena Alexander, Manju Kapoor, Manjula Padmanabhan, Shashi Tharoor, Chitra Banerjee Divakarni. It's important. Chitra Banerjee Divakarni known for all because she is famous for the magic realism. Jeet Hail, Vikram Chandra, Upmani Chatterjee, Amit Chaudhary, Kiran Desai, Arundhati Roy, Arvind Adiga. Then Canadian literature, Pauline Johnson. For Canadian literature, they are the only writers are important. I mentioned here: Pauline Johnson, E.J. Pratt, Robertson Davies, Gabriel Roy, Margaret Lawrence, Alice Munro, Timothy Findlay, Mordecai Richler, Margaret Atwood, Michael Ondaatje, Thomas King, Lawrence Hill, Maria Campbell, Rohinton Mistry, and Bharati Mukherjee. Don't confuse Rohinton Mistry is Indian. He is half Indian. but has a nationality of now Canadian. So there are African and Caribbean literature. You have to read Alan Paton, Franz Fanon, Chino Achebe, Hole Soinka, Hugio Thiongo, Nadim Godber, Carla Philip, James Cozy, Ben Okri, Adichie, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Kamau Bradford, Derek Walcott, Cyril David, Claude McKay, Jean Price, Wilson Harry, John Lamming, B.S. Naipaul. Okay, now there was a question regarding African literature. It is very simple question, but sometimes we feel that it's a hard question. There was a question: which of the following novels deals with the theme of apartheid? Apartheid, apartheid. Okay, apartheid. Purple Hibiscus, July's People, Cry the Beloved Country, and The Mimic Man. Okay, I want to if I know something and if I don't know something. Apartheid I know. What is apartheid? I know apartheid and negritude movement was happened in the South Africa. Okay, you know the major thing that the South Africa, the apartheid movement was a movement belong to the South Africa. It means that the writers who belong to the South Africa from the given options, they all belong to the work of arts given in the options which is written by the South African writers. These are the answers. Okay, there was a purple hibiscus written by the Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. When Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is a Nigerian writer, remember that she is not a South African. So July's People written by the Nadim Godwin. Nadim Godwin is a South African. Cry the Beloved Country, Cry the Beloved Country written by the Alan Paton. Alan Paton is also South African. And the Mimic Man is written by the B.S. Naipaul, and B.S. Naipaul is a three-Minadian writer. So our answer is July's People and the Cry the Beloved Country. Remember, if you are remembering the social context, the impact of the social context like World War, what is it with the Beat Generation, what is it with the confessional poetry, what is it with the transcendentalism, what is it with the abolitionist movement, what is it with the metaphysical poetry, what is it by, ask yourself why this is called as a metaphysical poet, why this is called as a pilot poet, why this is called as a Max Pondy, who called it. Okay, now there is Australian literature. There are only 7 to 8 writers who are important. Those are A.B. Patterson. A.B. Patterson is also called as a Banjo Patterson. Okay, now Christopher Bannon, Jack Davis, A.D. Hope, Patrick White, Judith Wright, Thomas Kennedy, David Morrow, Peter Carey, and Graham Greene. Okay, I want to tell you how I remembered everything related with this. I want to tell you one thing. Remember, make your own notes, make your own language, and make your own thing with it. Okay, one second, just give me the 1 minute. Now, may I visible this? Is it visible for all of you? What I written here?
You can put its image later on in the Telegram group, or you can send it to me. I'll post it on the group.
Okay, I want to tell you what I read there. I was making notes like this. I was making links like this. I was making interlinking everything like this. Okay, I put a random year. Okay, if I remember the random year, it is a random year is 1983. Okay, remember, please listen this. Okay, please listen this. Remembering everything is your mind power. If you are starting to study for the literature, if you are agree for it, and then you are going to be, then if you are passionate about the literature, you are going to realize that it is nothing is impossible in the world and to remember like this. Okay, the first thing is 1983. I put it the random year 1983. 1983. Who won the Booker Prize? It was a James Cozy. Okay, James Cozy won the 1983 Booker Prize. Then who won the Nobel Prize? Now Nobel Prize winner is William Golding. Yeah, 1983. William Golding is famous for. William Golding is famous for Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies was published in 1954. Okay, remember William Golding, Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies has three major characters: Ralph, Piggy, and Jack. Remember? Okay, now, 1983, what happened in 1983? There was James Cozy won the Booker Prize. James Cozy is one of the writers who won the Booker Prize twice. There was only 3 writers in the world who won the Booker Prize thrice. There is James Cozy, there is Peter Carey, there is Hilary Mantel. James Cozy for the Life and Times of Michael Caine. There was Life and Times of Michael Caine 1983. There was Disgrace in 1999. There was a Peter Carey. Peter Carey won the Booker Prize for the two books. There's Oscar and Lucinda in 1974, and there was another right, Kelly Gang produced in 2001. Do you know 2001? There was a historical year for the African American women literature. Why it is historical year? There was the first time in the history of African American women literature, Susan Lori Parks won the Pulitzer Prize in a drama section. Okay, now we back to the Hilary Mantel. Hilary Mantel won the twice Booker in 2009 and 2012 for the Cromwell trilogy. Do you know Recepti? Remember this thing. Hilary Mantel. They will going to ask the question about the Hilary Mantel because Hilary Mantel is a leftist. In the 2020, it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. The third, it was a Cromwell trilogy. First two books of the trilogy got won the Booker Prize, but the last book of the trilogy, it was shortlisted but never won the Booker Prize. It was published in the March 2020. So remember this thing, Hilary Mantel 2020 Cromwell trilogy last book. Okay, now what happened? What happened in 19? Sorry, we are talking about 1983. Suddenly we shifted in there. So 19. What happened in 1981? There was a latest year in 1982 and 1981. 1981 is the first is the year when Salman Rushdie won the Booker Prize for the Midnight Children, right? Midnight Children, right? So there are only four writers in India who won the Booker Prize for the literature. There was Arundhati Roy. There was Arundhati Roy for the Small and God Things. Yeah, the Small and God Things of Arundhati Roy. There was Arvind Adiga for the White Tiger in 2007, and there was a Kiran Desai in 2005. Arvind Adiga 2007, 2006. Kiran Desai for Inheritance of Lost. Inheritance of Lost. Right. This is the link. Remember 1982. What also happened in 1982? 1982. What happened in 1982? Remember these things. 1982. Gabriel Garcia Marquez won the Nobel Prize in 1982. 1982 is also Pulitzer Prize winning book by the Alice Walker, that is A Color Purple, written by Alice Walker. Alice Walker is a remarkable African American writer, African American women writer, novelist. Okay, so this is the one link. This is the only one link, and if you want to remember everything like this, you have to make your own chronology, own connection, and everything interconnect with it. Doesn't matter. Suppose suppose I want to connect everything with it again. Alice Walker is African American. Again, I want to connect. Again, I want to extend. Alice Walker is belong to the African American writer. Okay, African American writers are more influenced, more immersed in 1920s because of the Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance was happened. Harlem Renaissance. There was only major important work of art in Harlem Renaissance. That was the New Negro. The New Negro written by Alan Locke. There was the writers Langton Hughes, Zorani Dawson, then Richard. W. Du Bois and Claude McKay, these are the writers. Langston Hughes wrote I Too Sing America, poem entitled name I Too Sing America. Why he wrote I Too Sing America? It was a reply to the Walt Whitman, because Walt Whitman wrote I Sing America. Do you know Walt Whitman also wrote
The Leaves of Grass. The Leaves of Grass.
Correct. The Leaves of Grass. There are lots of things are there you can remember. There are lots of links are there you can remember. There are lots of things and lots of links. At the end of the particular presentation, I just want to say, if you are passionate enough to be in a teaching profession, if you want to be a teacher, and if you want to change, if you want to be the part of the beginning of the change, please come to the teaching profession. Otherwise, don't come here, please. And this is the only thing I want to share with you. And if you don't understand about the literature anything, and if you want to know anything else about the Nathan said, please ask the question now. And thank you very much for the opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the enthusiastic session, and it was so informative, full of information. I'm sure that the students have got some insights in the field of preparation of this examination. There will be only 3 questions will be taken from participants. If you have any question, you can ask directly, or you can put it into the chat box. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hiya.
Hello, sir. I would like to know about linguistics, sir. I'm interested. I'm interested in linguistics. So I want to appear. I want to pursue in that field. So would you please say something about that?
Okay. You belong to the Shivaji University.
Yeah.
Shivaji University. Okay. There is a syllabus of distance university. Shivaji University distance education. Okay. please get the syllabus on the distance education of Shivaji University. You will get it everything about the linguistic, because syllabus is thoroughly studied and thoroughly applied in Shivaji University also. But I don't know its most important thing. Lots of I think I have two friends who qualified in linguistic NET JRF in last year, and they informed me that there is the only way to clear the linguistic exam, that is go through the syllabus and refer the same of Shivaji University Linguistic Department or Shivaji English University Linguistic Syllabus. That's the only way to clear. And you have to just memorize everything about the linguistic. They are the basic ones. And if you're clearing you are the basic concept of the linguistics, either it's from the small things like the code switching and the code mixing or anything else, or the what is the phonetics and all. I'm not a perfect person to answer this question about the linguistic, but I am suggesting you, there are lots of my friends who suggested me that there is the only way to clear the net linguistic JRF is the Shivaji University syllabus of the same linguistic same. Please refer this.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, next.
Yes. Anybody else wants to ask something? If there are no questions, then we can move ahead. Anyone? Okay, there is one question which is a bit out of the track. The question is, I think that in comparison to NET, competitive exam is good choice. Please guide me.
I think that the comparison to the NET competitive exam is a great choice. It's a good choice. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I told you in the beginning of the lecture and the end of the lecture. If you are passionate about the teaching profession, then and then only go for the NET and SET exam. If you are not passionate about your NET profession of teaching, then please don't come here. There are lots of people are here who are not interested at all in the teaching. They are just in a teaching field. They don't know about how to teach. They don't know about how to present in front of the students. They don't know about the teaching methodology. They don't know about the research methodology. They don't know how to deal with a particular topic. Even in English department also, in particular English field in the Maharashtra and all over India, you can check anywhere that the lots of people from the English department, they are less knowledgeable, but they are on the particular seat. They are only because they are not interested in the teaching field, and they choose and they qualified NET and SET, and that's why they are in the teaching field. Don't come here, bro. Don't come here if you are not interested in the teaching field.
Okay. Last question. You are asked to suggest some books on critical theories.
Critical theories. There is a book written by the Dr. Rajendran of Kerala. What about theory? What about theory? There is only book I referred, and concept clear is most important. According to me, for the NET exam of English literature about the theory, about the critical theory. What about theory? Written by Dr. Rajendran and edited by Kalani Valak, and it was published by the Bodhi Trees. Bodhi Trees of the, it's local, but it is also I referred because for the concept clear, they thoroughly cleared the concept, and it is almost 350 pages book. And so, what about theory? The book name is What About Theory by Dr. Rajendran, edited by Kalani Valak.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Nitish Shinde, for the interactive session and enthusiastic session. I now request Dr. Shruti Joshi, Coordinator, NAC and IQSE, to propose the vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Supriya. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Very much audible.
First of all, I congratulate once again to Dr. Nitish Shinde for a very comprehensive and very passionate talk on the subject. I felt his sincerity and earnestness towards the profession of teaching, and keeping in view this sincerity, he focused on the preparation for the qualifying examinations for teaching profession. Are there any other disturbances?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm sitting outside, so
Yeah.
there might be sounds.
Yes, yes. The sound of
Yeah,
vehicles is
but
coming. Yeah.
yeah. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, yes. You are clear, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Shinde, for your valuable time and sincere sharing of your experiences. And I hope that our participants are really benefited by your guidance. It was very valuable information. The topics and well planned categorization that you presented for both paper number one and special papers. It was very good. I thank you on behalf of Vivekanand College Autonomous, the IQAC team, the Department of English, and we are thankful for your time and sharing your thoughts. It is my duty to thank the organizers of this lecture series, the HOD of English Department, Dr. Kavita Tilde Madam, Dr. Prabha Patil Madam, our coordinator Ms. Supriya Patil. We are thankful to the technical staff of Computer Science Department, Dr. Vagmare sir, R.Y. Patil Madam, and the non-teaching staff as well. I also thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. R.R. Gupta sir, for allowing us to conduct this lecture series. And thus, as the IQC coordinator, I am indebted to everybody who contributed for conduction of this series. And last but not least, thanks to the remaining 45 participants for sticking till the end and being patient, and which proves that they are really motivated and hopefully the future teachers in English departments. Thank you all, and thanks for giving me 5 minutes for expressing my thoughts. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I thank Dr. Shruti Joshi, ma'am, and Mr. Nitish Shinde. And with the permission of the chair, I declare that the session is over. I request you all to submit your feedback on the given link. The link has also been shared on the Telegram group, and I have also shared the link in the chat box. You can click any of it and submit the feedback form. After submitting the feedback form, you'll get the certificate, e-certificate, within a week. Okay, remember, within a week you will get your certificate after submitting the feedback form. And I declare that the session is over. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.